Okay, 4 weeks after my initial assessment of the spring sickness in my garden. Today is June 21st. The wind is howling. This is chili spice, which was pretty devastating 4 weeks ago, but now shows signs of recovery. The foliage at the base, I think, is the foliage that was out when I had the spring sickness, and I'll get that cleaned up. But the new stuff is looking good. There were other plants in this row that were also showing signs of spring sickness that have now rebounded. This one in particular, we still have some fans that are struggling, while others, this is the same plant, has a healthy fan, and I suspect these will come back. They look like, one of them looks like it's coming back already, this one here. And we had this one over here, struggled quite a bit, still working its way back, fighting with the weeds, I see. This one in here had some trouble, but now is looking good. It's coming back. This one, you can still see some of the damage in that one. The original damage is right there. But it looks good. Oops. Let's see if there were any others in this row. And in this row, there were several that were struggling. And you can still see the residue at the base. If you go in and look at the base of the plant, it's not too hard to tell who was struggling at one point. But from above, it's pretty difficult to tell that they were ever sick. Now, if I take a look at Ed Murray, just a second. Oh, look. Look. Okay, I don't know who that is down there. I'd have to go and check the chart, but definitely signs of some trouble. This one really hasn't come back as well as it should have. I see that it has one very healthy fan, but the rest is still right at ground level. It's still not looking great. And I believe it was Ed Murray was when I jump this row and come around and we'll look at Ed Murray. He was in bad shape. But coming back, starting to look good. Has a strong fan, couple of strong fans. Yeah, I guess you can see that residue of some damage in that one. But it looks good. And then we had one fan that had this squash thing going on. There it is. Still squashed. This is, jump another row here. Creature of the Night. So, Creature of the Night is still looking bad. It has one, put up a new fan. This is new growth, which is in pretty good shape, looking strong. But the old stuff, this is still squashed right down to the ground. This is starting to look like it's coming up out of the ground, so hopefully that will regenerate properly. Oh, I see some more in here from one that struggled, and it still looks a little damaged, although it does have one fan that's in really good shape. This other one is still struggling and fighting. But for the most part, it's hard to find. You pretty much have to be down crawling around to notice any plants suffering with spring sickness 4 weeks later. I will check in again in another few weeks and we'll see how much improvement there is. I had mentioned earlier about having to get down on the ground and crawl around to find out where your spring sickness victims are. Here's one I almost overlooked. It's way down on the ground. This is Brooklyn Twist. Still not recovering. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. I do see some growth there, but very low. I mean, the plants beside it are in fact showing scapes already. They're thick. They're, you know, doing very well. You can see, you know, robust fans on either side of it. And then there's this poor, puny little thing sitting there. It's probably getting shaded, but I know it'll bounce back. But this is at June 21st, and it's just starting to come out of it.